because it was such a good win, Sam. The performance was brilliant. And we just said off air, it's probably one of the best performances this season, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I personally thought it was the best performance. I think it just about gets past that Norwich game, simply because I thought every single player on that pitch put in a shift, and it was the Watford we've been crying out for all season, because we're incredibly positive. We saw the flair that we know so mmany players have. Like, how good was it to see Sarr back with a smile on his face? Like, brilliant. And, you know, we can continue to sing their praises, but that back four and Daniel Backman, unbelievable yet again. So, you know, I'm so happy, and we'll come on to it. But even Andre Gray, I thought we have to give credit to him tonight. Troy Deeney, we have to give credit to tonight. He also got the match winner, obviously. And, you know, I do kind of fear for goalkeepers now when they stand down the middle, because, you know, it's either Deeney scores or they save it and get a broken nose. So it's it's a lose-lose situation.
The thing, Sam, with Troy's penalties, we all know as Watford fans where he's going to put it, and I'm pretty sure the keepers who do their research know he likes to just smash it down the middle. But you know, that's one thing you can't take away from Troy, is how consistent he is from 12 yards. I mean, he's come up with big penalties this season. I think that game, the Brentford game. There was another game at home this season, but he's come up with a lot of big penalties, and again he stepped up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, we can always talk about Troy as, you know, this and that, and, you know, but today we're going to be purely positive. But that penalty again was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I think he said that after the Tottenham game last season, when he went to Gazzaniga's side and he saved it, he was like, from now on, I'm sticking with what I do best, and that's going down the middle. And, you know, it's honestly, I mean, no keeper saved it yet, so we're not complaining. But yeah, it's really, really good. And I can't, you know, I know the goal was from a penalty, and some people might turn around and go, oh, you know, still not scoring from open play enough. But I mean, don't let that distract you from the fact that every single one of those players, I'll say it again, were brilliant today. Yeah,
those two you mentioned, Sarr and Backman, Sam. David Levy in the chat said they played the best, I think. We've got another couple of comments. Holly says Sirialta was so strong at the back and reminds me of Prodel from 2015 to 18. Hughes excellent, and Sarr looking so strong. Before we get into some of your comments, guys, if you do go on to enjoy the video, please do leave a like. Don't forget to comment what you think of the win down in the comment section below. I'm sure that all the comments will be positive today. And don't forget to subscribe to WD18 for more Watford content. Sam, let's get into the performance and the result today. I think you mentioned Andre Gray, and he could have had a hat-trick in the first half.
He could have, yeah.
He had so many chances, and I do feel sorry for Andre, because you know what? Today, he's got a lot of stick for not getting in the positions. He got in the positions today. He just couldn't really finish them off. How frustrating was that for you? And I think you could see on his face how frustrated he was that, you know, he's actually getting some really good positions. And I think it helped because Barnsley did play quite a high line, and it did allow Andre to make these really good runs. But even Deeney today, I mean, the front two, really, the work they put in wasn't rewarded, because I think they probably deserved a couple of goals.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I think it could have been easily 3 or 4-0 on another day, perhaps with a striker or two strikers more in confidence. But generally, I think there was a lot of pessimism in the fan base when we saw that lineup, Deeney and Gray up top. I mean, I personally was not happy at all. I wanted to see João Pedro up there. I wanted Zinchenko starting. But both of them were absolutely brilliant today. I think Troy, from minute one, he won pretty much everything in the air, was holding the ball up. He obviously put away that penalty, and he looked, I'd say, I think it's a bit controversial, I thought he looked more mobile than he has in previous weeks as well. He was making those runs.
Not to interrupt you, 2015-16 with Igalo, that's what the Deeney performance today reminded me of.
I completely, I can see exactly where you're coming from. And Andre was making those movements as well, but again, it's just a confidence issue where, not even confidence, but when you're on it, and you're on form, some things just go for you. Like when he got around the goalkeeper in the first half, tight angle, literally a striker who's confident, and you know, you just get the rub of the green and it just goes in, and it's just not going for Andre at the moment. But you know, aside from that, I know a striker's job is to score goals, but credit, he got in the positions, he created, I mean, he had the chances, and he didn't stop running when he was on the pitch. So we have to give Andre credit.
I'll tell you what, another player who stood out for me today, Sam, Francisco Sierralta. Oh my goodness, mate.
What a man. What a man.
He was absolutely top draw. I'd actually go as far as to say he's my man of the match. Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant at the back. You know what? We've said it before, Sam. You know, he's come into this team and he's had a run of 4 or 5 games. I think it's 5 games now. And he has just been absolutely superb. Wins everything in the air. I think it was after there was a little bit of a rush moment at the start of the game, but as soon as that happened, it actually settled his nerves a little bit. He got that energy out, and he was just so calm at the back. And I have to say, Sam, at the moment on form, he's our best centre half.
100%. I mean, we spoke about on the preview how I think that Kiko's performances are really improving with the competition with Ngaku at right back. And I really think that with Troost-Ekong and Sierralta at the moment, the competition they've got from Ben Wilmot, Christian Kabasele, Craig Cathcart coming back, this competition is really, really improving the performances. And how many years in the Premier League were we crying out for just a combination like we've got now? And it is so, so good to see. I'm so pleased for Sierralta because we saw all of these, these Chile fans in the comments on Instagram and Twitter going, oh, he needs to play. And he has been absolutely fantastic since he has come in. He's undroppable. He's the first name on the team sheet. I just want to disagree in terms of him being man of the match because performance-wise, I thought he was. But in terms of sentiment, I'm going to give it to Daniel Bachmann simply because, we've spoken about it so many times, but being a backup goalkeeper, you have to be so patient, particularly behind the goalkeeper of Ben Foster's quality. And it's those I'd go as far as saying season-defining, match-winning moments today when he pulled his glove out next to him from Sierralta's header.
I have to admit, I was going to say that was the only downside to Sierralta's performance today was that header. And I think Tommy Mooney mentioned on commentary it was his position. I don't think his position was wrong. I just think he just directed the header the wrong way. And to be fair, as you mentioned, Sam, we'll elaborate on that save because that was a big moment in the game. I can't remember Barnsley having another clear-cut opportunity, and that was the only clear-cut opportunity they had, and that was through our own making. And to be fair, Sierralta, that was probably the only mistake he made today. But you were going to say about Bachmann. I mean, TH said in the live chat, number one keeper, no question. Are you someone who agrees with that?
I think it still is too early to tell. It's 2 games, 2 clean sheets, brilliant performances in the cup this season. We can't really fault it so far, but we have to remember though, Ben Foster is a quality keeper. He hasn't necessarily had his best performances this year. We on the channel have been quite quick to criticise that, I think. But Bachmann, I think, is just genuinely, he's blown me away, to be honest with you. Simply,
he looks so calm on the ball, doesn't he?
So calm on the ball. I think that's where he gets the major advantage over Foster is the way he can kick the ball. There were a couple in the first half where he kind of kicked it straight out of play, but Holly said it there. Bachmann distribution, fantastic, and it just comes. I'm so surprised with how sharp he is as well because he's been on the bench for the last year or two, and he's pulling out saves like that. It's just I'm so pleased for him more than anything else.
Yeah, it's really good to see Daniel Bachmann get given an opportunity, isn't it? Because he had that spell at Kilmarnock, and now you can see this is his opportunity. I think he knows now this is his opportunity to become Watford's number one for the future, because we know Ben Foster unfortunately is out at the moment with a broken finger. I think it is his tendon pulled out of his finger. He's going to be out for a few weeks now, and Daniel Bachmann, with this congested fixture list, is going to get the opportunity to step up. And I have to say, he's been really, really good. Other standout performers for you today, Sam. We mentioned Sierralta, Daniel Bachmann. We thought the top two guys played pretty well in Deeney and Andre Gray. I thought Troost-Ekong had a pretty good game at the back as well. I mean, defensively this season, Kiko again, Messina. Defensively, Sam, it's been our strongest area this season under Ivic and Xisco. Is that the same for you, that we were just so solid at the back?
I think it's so easy to say in hindsight now, but it's almost like it's worked out. Hopefully it will work out so well, having almost a defensive-minded coach to sort out the defence, and then someone who perhaps wants to bring the ball forward a bit more in Munoz. Because, we've said it previously that particularly when we were 1-0 up at Swansea against Norwich, it was still very much Ivic-like performances. And I think that could serve us really well this season when we're kind of seeing our performances. I have to say our game management, brilliant. The way we keep it in the corner, win corners, win free kicks, it's just so good to see. And you talk about standout performances. I think we can talk about Kiko, we can talk about Troy, we can talk about Sarr. Another man who does not get mentioned at all, Tom Cleverley, because I haven't seen anyone mention him today on social media. He was very quiet in the game today, but I think Tom Cleverley kind of thrives off that. He does not stop running. When he was on the pitch, he didn't stop running. He was snapping into challenges. He released the ball quickly. And he's another one, just people don't appreciate him. He's so important, his experience and his desire. It's so important for this Watford side, I think.
Yeah, I think Nick's just put in a comment in the chat. Evening, boys. Great win. Evening, Nick. Barnsley were a decent side. Impressed yet again with Bachmann, Sierralta, Troost, Kiko and Hughes. Sarr much better. Cleverley ran his socks off, as you mentioned, Sam. Big game Friday night against Stoke away, I believe. So that's a really, really big game. I think Nick mentioned there about Hughesy. for me, what Hughes brings
So
to the team, what he does so well. And he just brings a level of calmness to this Watford team. You can just tell the way when he gets the ball, he doesn't rush, he picks the right pass. More often than not, he's looking to play forward. And that is so positive with Hughes in the side. And to be fair, I actually thought when Chalobah came on, he did really well because
Chalobah did really well.
Chalobah's brilliant for that situation where you just need someone to shore it up, break up the play. As you said, Sam, game management. But Hughesy, again, for me, and this is why I tweeted out straight after the Huddersfield game, we have to play Hughesy because you can just tell he's a cut above a lot of these championship midfielders. When we come up against him, he dominates, he plays the right passes, and he's always looking to play forward, as I mentioned as well. Hughes was brilliant, as Aaron said in the chat. Got another comment from...
We talk about Drew further up, talking about Philip Zinkernagel. When he came on, absolutely brilliant when he came on. There was that run where João Pedro was just offside. I'm not sure if he was. I couldn't really tell from the angle. But again, when he's fully match sharp, did their season just finish a few weeks ago as well? So that's perhaps why they're... Yeah.
Yeah, so they finished in December. So he hasn't had a pre-season with Watford. He's just come straight in. Yeah,
so I imagine that's why they're kind of like, slowly bringing him in. And perhaps I don't really blame them for that, but he looks so promising. Every time he touched the ball tonight, there was a ball in. Was it for Troost-Ekong? I think it was.
Yeah,
and,
my God, what a ball that was,
fantastic ball in.
Beautiful.
And even just before that, the corner beat the first man. We don't often say that with Watford. So, he looks so promising.
That was absolutely, it was actually really funny. I was watching the post-match analysis with Cavasello, who was on today. He was really, really good. And he was doing the interview with Troost, and he was like, mate, we've got a competition going with the goals, and you haven't taken your chance while I'm out the team. That was quite funny.
Don't even get me started on Cavasello mentioning Capu watching the game. I thought I was crying. Yeah, brought a tear to my eye throughout the whole second half. I was just thinking about Capu's cross-field passes, but, it's in the past.
I have to admit, when I heard Capu was watching, I did feel a little bit sad. Nick said in the live chat, definitely agree, Jacob. Chalobah allowed Hughes more freedom, and not that he'd be negative for the rest of the game. Dylan says Zinkernagel well played for calming the fight down. That's a good point, actually, because I think it was towards the end of the second half, wasn't it? And there was something said. I'm not too sure what was said, but it really did aggravate Sarr and João. But
I'm kind of not scared, but I think the wrong word is immature for both Sarr and João Pedro, but they always seem very close to snapping, and I'm scared at some point they are going to do something stupid. So I suppose that will come with learning in the game because they're both very, very young players. We know that, but yeah, really good on Zinkernagel for calming it all down.
Well, I have to say, Sam, that incident there, I actually really like that. Again, I
liked it. Yeah,
it's probably the Sunday League in me, but we mentioned it in the match preview. That little bit of bite, and everyone. I know there's been a few comments this season from fans saying maybe Sarr isn't 100% committed. He wanted to move in the summer, and yes, he probably was close to moving on, but no one can say he hasn't been committed this season. Sometimes his performance have gone a little bit missing, absolutely, but don't think we can question his work rate and his effort. And to be fair, I really like that about João. 19 years of age, come over from Brazil, and he's just getting stuck in. He's not afraid of anyone, and he's constantly involved. And to be fair, when he came on, I thought he did well. Just to ask you a question, Sam, about the substitutes today. What did you make of them? Xisco opting to use all 5 substitutes. He brought off Troy on the 60th minute, which I didn't really agree with because I thought Deeney played quite well today. And I think when we took him off the pitch, we lost a little bit of that link up between the midfield and the attack. And he kind of links the two together, doesn't he, Troy? And also, it was interesting. We're 1-0 up and he's taken off Troost-Ekong. It's almost like he's trying to save some of these players' legs. Did you agree with the substitutions, or did you think it was a little bit risky from Xisco?
Do you know what? I kind of really... I mean, I don't know how, kind of naive this is of me, but I didn't really think about who was coming off. I was so happy to see Zinkernagel coming on. Generally, though, I didn't think it was the worst decision to bring off Troy personally, because I know he's good for holding the ball up and he's good for seeing out the games, but I can understand why Xisco did it. I think it was purely because there were going to be opportunities for Gray, and I think he could sense how low his confidence was and that chances were going to come, and it would have just simply, blew his confidence even more if he was brought off earlier. So I can understand it, even though it was a bit strange. I thought the second one was, the later one was even weirder, bringing off Troost-Ekong for Cathcart. Again, I think it's just giving Cathcart minutes, giving Troost-Ekong a 5-minute rest or whatever it was. So it was a bit weird, but I think we say it again. I think he was quietly confident because Barnsley didn't really threaten. I thought Woodrow didn't really do much in the game.
Can we just talk about that penalty? And that was embarrassing. That.
Yeah,
that was a shocking dive. That. Sorry, mate. Carry on. I just had to get that.
Awful. Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh no. But like,
this is the thing with VAR not being in the Championship. I was thinking, oh my god, here we go.
Yeah,
I was thinking, no. Because to be fair, the referee, there was a couple of dodgy calls. There was one I saw you tweet about, Sam, which was Zhao being offside in the second half.
Yeah,
I thought he looked tight. That.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I think I can't really tell with the angle. And obviously, with VAR, I assume for that kind of decision, they'd start bringing the lines out and the ruler and that kind of thing. But yeah, I did think in that kind of situation, you always want to give the striker the benefit of the doubt. And I thought it was incredibly harsh. Whether he was offside or not, I don't know. I couldn't really tell. But it was very harsh on Pedro. And just following that run from Zinchenko again was really, really, she saw skill in the box, by the way, as well. It was like it came up for a handball. Unbelievable.
Just going back onto the substitute, Sam. It was an interesting one, wasn't it? Because he made the changes, and I have to admit, I think the one that surprised me was the centre back. I think that was risky because it's not really going to make a difference. Troost-Ekong playing another 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think that was maybe a little bit too risky for me. It's paid off in the end. We've not got away with it, but it didn't make a massive impact. Just looking at some of the other kind of standouts, Zinchenko you mentioned. Does he need to be playing from the start? Because I thought Sema was probably one of our weaker players today. Is that fair?
Yeah, 100%. I say it again about Ken. Like, I love the guy to bits, but he just hasn't been as good since he's come back from his little break or whatever it was. Something seems wrong with him. Like, not wrong like that, but at the start of the season, he had so much flair going in behind. He was bringing out those like the Igalo scoops every single game. But now, I don't know, he just seems a bit off the pace. I don't really know how to explain it, but perhaps a couple of games out of the team for him wouldn't do that much harm. I'm not really sure, but I mean, what are your thoughts on Sam?
Yeah, to be honest, Sam, it seems like he's lost the yard of pace, hasn't it? And I think what was really good about Sema in the first half of the season was he was constantly hitting that byline. I mean, the Stoke game was the perfect example, wasn't it? I mean, the Sarr goal, when he got to the byline, cut it back, and Sarr just put it in the bottom left-hand corner. It seems like he's lost a bit of that edge going forward.
Yeah. No, I think teams have kind of worked him out as well because he's incredibly one-footed. I think we have to recognise that he's incredibly left-footed, and teams are kind of, keeping him on that left foot. Trying to put him onto his right foot, and he's really struggling with that. And I do think perhaps Zinchenko will come into the side for him on the left, but I suppose we'll see.
Just in the grand scheme of things, Sam, just looking at this result, it takes Watford up to third in the table. Bournemouth losing tonight, I believe, from what I was hearing. I think we've actually got a game in hand on Bournemouth, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we're above them and we got a game in hand,
We've got a game in hand.
But they catch up that game in hand because we play it against Stoke on against Stoke on Friday, and they got FA Cup game.
So 24 games played, 43 points. We're currently 3 points behind Swansea. How big I know you don't want to kind of get too carried away with yourself. I always say this after a win. You don't want to get too carried away with yourself. But in terms of the grand scheme of this season, how big is this win for us?
Absolutely huge. I said before it that it was the biggest game of the season by a mile. I thought, just generally though, I thought the morale was just lifted. Every single player in there, I think, with the exception of Gray with his misses. But even his performance in general, I thought every single player in there could take a confidence boost from that. And it just shows that they really can do it, because all we ask for this season is a bit of desire, a bit of hope in this team, and attacking football. And we got all three of those, including and on top of that, we got defensive solidarity. So, it really is massive in the grand scheme of the season, as well as tonight bringing us up to third. It just feels good to be back in the mix.
It does feel like a momentous win, this, and I really hope we can build on this going into the Stoke game on Friday night. Before we get into some of your comments, Sam, it's just comments in the live chat. Sam, I wanted to mention, we mentioned it in the match preview, and thank you to all your support on the match preview as well. It's gone down brilliantly, so thank you very much. And if you'd like to see more of these live streams, then please do leave a like on the video. It's massively appreciated. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our content, then hit the subscribe button down below. It's our first back-to-back win, Sam, since Rotherham and Birmingham at the start of December under Vladimir Ivic. We're still unbeaten at home under Xisco Munoz. Norwich win, Huddersfield, Barnsley as well. For me, I would go as far to say the next 2 games for us, where we've got Stoke and then Millwall away, where we've 2 really difficult away games. We know how difficult it is to go to Millwall in particular, but Stoke as well. A Friday night, not to do the cliche, but a Friday night under the lights at Stoke. This is going to be a big test of Watford's character, isn't it? And I think these 2 games are going to be maybe even I'd go far to say make or break in terms of how we judge Xisco so far, because we had a great record under Vladimir Ivic at home, and we continue that record under Xisco Munoz. But this away form that we struggled with this season,
the away form's
this is the moment, isn't it, where we've really got to show up.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it. Do you remember which season was it? 17-18, the second half of that under Javi, and we just didn't win away for like the whole season, for like pretty much the whole season. I don't think we won away. We won a couple at the start, but it just reminds me of that. We just can't really get going away from home for some reason compared to the home games. But I think this game, again, just the way they dug in there, I think it just gives me so much confidence, particularly with the back four, that we could. For me, the performances aren't everything for the next 2 games because they are difficult championship away games, but it's just giving me confidence that we can grind out those results 1-0, 2-0 kind of thing. And I don't want to say I'm confident. I'm never confident with Watford, particularly in the championship, but it has given me a boost, particularly, under Munoz as well. It's just, I hope we see Munoz cam tonight as well.
Yeah,
really hope that.
The whistling on the sideline.
Oh, I can't wait. Do you want to do? Should we do player ratings now as well? Actually,
I'll tell you what, Sam. I might set up another video so we can upload it as 2.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We'll just read some of these thoughts before we do a player ratings. We'll end this one, and then we'll move over to a player ratings. If you want to join us, no worries. If not, let's see. First in the league based on home records. 17th in the league based on away record. This is, I think, these 2 games, as he says, this is the moment where we've got to seize it and really improve our away form. And I think this is when we know how far we've come under Xisco, because it's all well and good playing the great football at home, but it's away from home where we have to pick up the performances if we want to get promoted this season. Aaron Bennis, great to see him in the chat. Sar's best performance of the season. Agree with that, Sam?
Yeah, 100%. He was brilliant, and I said it right at the start, but I think it just made it even better seeing that smile back on his face. And it was almost like he was enjoying playing his football again, like he did in the Liverpool 3-0 at home. But, he was getting in behind them. He was getting touches of the ball, and he was really enjoying himself. So, yeah, I can't disagree with you, Aaron.
Another Aaron said, we have the best 2 fullbacks in the league in Kiko and Messina. Don't think there's many arguments about that. No. As in, I don't. Maybe there's some. Rico Henry's obviously.
Yeah, Rico Henry's brilliant. Yeah.
But we have got 2 of the best for sure. 2 of the best, absolutely. Jay Webb says Zinkenagel's got to start versus Stoke. Adam said the reason for the substitution might be getting Cathcart ready. I think that's a fair point. Who starts up top on Friday? Sam.
You know what? Your guess is as good as mine. I also feel like. Personally, I've written Glenn Murray off. He was off on a punditry job tonight in the Southampton FA Cup game. So I think that's pretty much out of the question.
His short Watford career is over.
Thank you for wicking him away, but it's time to go. But
he's done it again.
I tweeted that when the lineup came out. Yeah, we're WD18, we're not AFTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I think João Pedro will come back in, and I think it would be for Gray. I think Deeney for Xisco is important. Whether that's Xisco making the decisions is a whole separate video in itself, but I think Deeney is important for Xisco, and I think they both work well regardless of whether it's Gray or João Pedro up top. So yeah. Max
makes a really good point. Just to wrap up some of the comments, midfielders didn't get mentioned much, but it's great when people don't have much to say about them, kept their heads down and worked really hard. I think that epitomised the performance from Cleverley and Hughes today. Nick G says with another really good comment here, notice also that Troy seems to be dropping deeper into a number 10 role behind the striker like he did under Kike in 15-16. Think he looks better there. He has a good footballing brain. I think that's pretty much spot on and how I think about it, Nick. I think Troy's best qualities is when he's not back to goal. He's looking forward and looking for those runners. And I think the great thing about Sarr and Sema, if Sema improves a little bit, is that they make those runs. And Gray was making good runs today. And to be fair, Deeney, as Nick mentions, has got a good footballing brain. He does pick these passes. I know it's 5 years ago, but I remember the Igalo pass for the opening goal was an absolute brilliant pass. And he's got that in his locker. So I think that's definitely the best position to deploy him, maybe in a 4-4-1-1, just behind the striker. And who that striker is definitely up for debate. Just a couple more comments to wrap it up. Frankie Holiday says, solid performance, no complaints about anyone. Yes, Gray should have scored, but he did play really well today and not too many offsides for once. Adam says, I want a 4-2-3-1, Zinkernagel, Soren, Semet in midfield with Zhao up top. What a team that would be. Aaron said, Deeney's performance tonight reminded me of Harry Kane this season. That role will help the team a lot.
I can see where he is coming from. Like, I wouldn't say it's the same level as Harry Kane, but I do see where he is coming from.
I think, it's more the role, isn't it? He's playing. It's the role, because I think what Harry Kane's done well at Spurs, isn't it? He's evolved his game as he's dropping a bit deeper. And I'm not saying, the level with Deeney and Harry Kane, there's a bit of a gap. But the point is, it's dropping him a little bit deeper, and I think he is effective in that position anyway. Charlotte makes a good point. Our central defenders have to be some of the best in the Championship as well on current form. As we mentioned, Sirialta and Truce Kong are really forming a partnership at the back. Joe Hughes has to start every game now. Deeney, I thought was good, says Joe. We'll take one more comment. Drew says, we'll leave it here before we move on to the player ratings in another video. Deeney and Pedro to start on Friday. That is the verdict from Drew. That's where we're going to wrap up the match reaction, guys. It's finished Watford 1, Barnsley 0 at Vicarage Road. If you did enjoy the match reaction, there was, I think, over at one point 150 of you watching, which is incredible. So thank you very much to everyone who watched this evening. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. Don't forget to follow us on WD18 at WD18 fans on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and we'll see you in a moment for some player ratings. Thank you very much, guys, and take care.